Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk live on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It's good old MF Michael Fletcher versus it's good old MF Michael Fletcher alongside Anthony Florio, and we're waiting Michael Bullock's arrival. If he shows up, great. If he doesn't, then I guess we'll see him sometime next week for the when we do all the shows all over again. So, with that said, um here we go. So we started off with a promo segment. We had a whole bunch of different promo segments, but at the end, we did start off with the first fight of the night. Yeah, we started with a wrestling match, folks, as it was Sami Zayn going one-on-one with Ricochet, the winner of the bout, in 8 minutes and 20 seconds. And no! Intercontinental Champion Ricochet. Oh my God, history has been made on the road to WrestleMania. It happened again. For the second time this week, a title changes hands. This time, the Intercontinental Championship flip-flops as it goes from Sami Zayn to Ricochet. Oh my word, I can't believe this just happened. Great moment for Ricochet. Huge moment for us on the road to WrestleMania. Holy freaking crap. What a night. What a way to start the show. This is about maybe 2.5 stars. Yeah, the match was a little short. There was a commercial break along the way. But on top of that, Johnny Knoxville did come out, but he didn't really get involved. He didn't get involved. He just kind of showed up, started whatever, got into Sami Zayn, hopped up on the apron. Zayn went to swing at him. Johnny jumps off, and then Ricochet with a Hurricanrana straps the legs. 1, 2, 3. We have a new champion. Anthony Florio, it is all yours, my friend. Ricochet, the new Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion. Oh my.
New champion. What does that mean, Monsoon? You know what that means.
Yeah. I said it.
Oh, all right. I must have gotten.
You got sidetracked. Sidetracked, but I did say it right at the beginning.
Yes, indeed. History was indeed made, and well, my little theory actually came true. I mean, I'll get into that in a minute, but I agree with the rating. 2.5 to 3 for this. It is about damn time Ricochet gets a chance to run with the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship after going 3 years without any real direction. He is too incredibly talented to be wasted in the manner that he has been. So to see him capture the title, paying off weeks of momentum building, was more than welcome. Sami Zayn is a great heel, the likes of which an entire generation of young wrestlers will one day study in hopes of being even a third as great as he is. He was great here, selling the shock and awe of what occurred. And his backstage promo challenging Johnny Knoxville for a match at WrestleMania was even better. This accomplished 2 things. Highlighted 2 great talents and had the added bonus of a title change. It was a great way to start this edition of Friday Night Smackdown from Miami, one of MF's homes away from home. So, MF country, Dolphin country, Heat country. Yeah, they got to celebrate tonight. What a moment for Ricochet. Beyond deserving of it. And now you gave the title to someone who I believe I am hopeful that he can bring prestige and honor back to that Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. I am so glad they did this because you know how we all felt about this, especially myself and Bullock. We talked about how after Zayn won the title a couple of weeks ago on that tape show from Nakamura, we all thought that it was going to lead to a match with Sami Zayn and Johnny Knoxville at WrestleMania, and the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship would be on the line. And we could have been staring right in the face of a possible David Arquette 2.0 moment. Nope. That ain't going to happen anymore, boys. Not going to happen. Johnny Knoxville, with that little momentary distraction, cost Sami Zayn the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. We crown a new champion, a very deserving champion, I might add. And hopefully, if there is an Intercontinental Heavyweight title match at WrestleMania, hopefully Ricochet will be in there against someone who is just as good as he is, and they have a chance to steal the damn show in Jerry World. So congratulations, Ricochet. Well-deserved. About damn time that you had a moment in the sun like that. I mean, this may be his biggest win ever. I mean, well,
he's now a Triple Crown champion. He became a Triple Crown champion here tonight. Ricochet.
Was
he NXT
ever
North American champion?
Oh, that's right.
WWE United States Heavyweight champion?
Yep,
and now the Intercontinental champion. He's the Triple Crown champion tonight.
Yeah, when it comes to the secondary championships. Absolutely. I mean, a North American champion in NXT, a U.S. champion in WWE when he was on Raw, and now he does it on SmackDown with the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. I mean, it's in his top three. I mean, he beat Adam Cole for that NXT North American Championship. I believe he beat Samoa Joe for the U.S. title. I think it was at that show in 2019 at the Tacoma Dome. That had that stupid name, and then tonight with this. So great moment for him, well deserved. So, and now, gentlemen, now it is official. It will be Sami Zayn and Johnny Knoxville at WrestleMania. I'm not even mad about it anymore because it's not going to be for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah, titles now off. Yeah,
titles off the table. So now it's going to be a regular one-on-one match, and I am beyond okay with it. It didn't need the title. I did not want to see a David Arquette 2.0 moment, and that's all I can say. So 2.5 to 3 for this. So with that being said, Michael Bullock, I mean, how about it? Not one, but two championship switches in WWE this week. The U.S. title on Monday night, as we saw, with Finn Balor beating Damian Priest during our Raw chat. And, of course, tonight, a new Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion and a very deserving one in Ricochet. And thankfully at WrestleMania, we're not going to get that dreaded David Arquette 2.0 moment. Praise the Lord.
Yeah, thank goodness for that. I mean, going into this, I was a little nervous because I thought Sami Zayn was going to go over and we were going to have him and Johnny Knoxville for the Intercontinental Championship, and then that dreaded outcome with David Arquette 2.0. But nope, they actually took the title off of him and gave it to a much deserving man here in Ricochet. It's been a while since he held a secondary title. He was the United States champion, but now he's got the Intercontinental Championship, and he joins a very, very prestige of wrestlers that have held that championship. Hopefully they give him a good run with it, and who knows, maybe they'll give him a good challenger for WrestleMania. So we'll wait and see on it. So 2.5 to 3 for me. I thought this was a good match. A little short for my liking, but the right outcome here was happened here, and yeah, Johnny Knoxville and Sami Zayn will happen at WrestleMania, and it's going to be a regular one-on-one match, which I am okay with. Like you said, it didn't need the Intercontinental title, so I'm not all that upset about it. So there's really nothing more to say. Fletch, let's move on.
Well, then after that, we had a little bit of a moment, and they were hyping what happened yesterday. If you were living under a rock, yesterday, Pat McAfee and the Pat McAfee Show welcomed Vince McMahon, Mr. McMahon, to the show in Indianapolis. And there was an array of topics that they went into that was almost a 2-hour conversation. It's on YouTube, on the Pat McAfee Show website. It is about an hour and 42 minutes of awesomeness. It's all I got to say. It was, without a doubt, the most revealing, the most eye-opening, and there was still a little bit of some newsworthy stuff that came out of that interview as well. So, props to Pat McAfee, props to the Toxic Table, props to all the boys in Indy. They did an amazing job with the interview, but 2 bits of news came out of it. One, Mr. McMahon is inducting The Undertaker into the Hall of Fame. That's big news, especially for Michael Bullock. And 2, Mr. McMahon gave Pat McAfee the ultimate dream moment of his life. He actually got to tell Pat that Pat will be a part of WrestleMania at some point, not as a commentator, but as a professional wrestler. McAfee on the card at Mania. So, the next thing we find out, Austin Theory shows up from Monday Night Raw. What the bleep are you doing here in Miami? Well, he starts talking some stuff, and then we find out that Mr. McMahon has hand-selected Austin Theory to face off with Pat McAfee at WrestleMania. It's official. Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory one-on-one. If you really think about it, it makes sense. Both guys are about the same height. They're about the same weight. And for Theory, this is a good match. And for Pat McAfee, who just came off of one of the best rivalries in NXT with Adam Cole and the Undisputed Era, first off, the one-on-one match with Adam Cole, with the match actually was better than what everybody expected the fight to be. And then number two, the War Games match, which was amazing. So McAfee's already got 2 matches under his belt. Now he gets to wrestle at WrestleMania in front of 80, 90, close to 100,000. Oh my God. What a night that's going to be for McAfee. A moment for McAfee. This is going to be an interesting night. This is going to be an interesting event. And Anthony Florio, there was rumors that it was going to be Mr. McMahon, and we're like, no, that can't be it. That can't be it.
No.
But Austin Theory against Pat McAfee?
Let's go.
Hey, we got ourselves that could be a little bit of a dark horse match that could surprise a few people.
Now, before I get into my thought on this, MF, I want to ask you personally, because I know out of the 3 of us, I mean, we all respect and admire Pat McAfee, but of course, you.
I watch his show every day. I will openly admit that. Yes.
I know you do, and of course, everybody knows. Between the 3 of us, I mean, we're all fans, but you, hands down, are his biggest fan. I mean, I know how much you love this guy, and like you just admitted, you watch his show every day. I'm not at all surprised to hear that. And I'm very curious. What went through your mind when I dropped the message in our messenger chat with that announcement that Pat McAfee was going to wrestle at WrestleMania? What went through your head?
You know what? When I saw the moment, because I didn't get to see it live, so I had to run it back, and then I wanted to hear it for myself. even though I believed you, but I need to hear it for myself.
Of course.
And then once I saw the clip, because they posted it,
Yep.
my jaw hit the floor. And I was the same way like McAfee. Like, you saw his reaction.
Yes, I did. He
That was as real and as authentic as you're gonna get Pat McAfee. And you could see it. He's never had, like, it's one thing when he had his little horse fight with Adam Cole and that infamous blow up at his studio.
Yep.
But this was so, like, even his boys at the toxic table, Boston Connor and Ty Schmidt, you heard their reaction. They were like, whoa, because they knew what this meant. We all knew what that meant.
Yep.
Dude, for Mr. McMahon to offer him that moment, holy crap.
How happy are you for him?
Oh, I'm ecstatic. I think, you know, I'm going to say it, man. Yesterday was a banner day for the brand.
Absolutely.
It was. It was a banner day for the brand.
Maybe
you got the breaking news about Taker. That was the first thing for the whole world to know.
As that
Nobody knew. Huh?
As that should, and that's exactly as that should be.
And that's exactly as it should be. He got to break the news that McMahon was inducting Taker. Nobody else in the world had that. He did.
So.
And now he gets to find out that he gets to fight at WrestleMania?
Yep.
Whoa. No, this is a big deal. And then two huge news items came out of that show. And now to find out that it's Theory, I'm content. You could have gotten anybody in the SmackDown or Raw locker room, but Theory is the most, I want to say, he is probably the most perfect opponent. He's the most perfect opponent because you know those fans are now for McAfee. And you heard that crowd in Miami when Pat flipped.
He's ridiculously over right now.
Yeah. So no, dude, I'm gonna tell you, and his theme song is the 7 Nation Army.
Oh,
yes, that song.
Oh yes,
7 Nation Army by the White Stripes,
which we heard, which the crowd would always. I mean, back in the day of Enzo Amore, they used to use that with the Enzo Amore.
Yeah. So
always gave me goosies when I heard that.
Well, get ready because you're going to be hearing that at WrestleMania
in Jerry World.
Ooh-wee. Because I can confirm that's his entrance music when he comes out for SmackDown every week. That's the song, 7 Nation Army.
And I'm sure we'll see that come the pay-per-view.
Yes.
When we go to WrestleMania Backlash on Mother's Day night. But anywho, I just wanted to get that quick thought out of you, MF, because I mean, like I said, I mean, we're all fans of his, but of course we all know MF's the biggest McAfee fan. He's a McAfee mark, and especially the whole for the brand thing and the whole 9 yards. And I'm not at all surprised to hear that. But yeah, I don't think the date has been announced for it yet. I don't see a date underneath it. But I now can confirm. I just saw this on WWE's Instagram that the Sami Zayn Johnny Knoxville match is going to go down on WrestleMania Sunday. So Sunday, April 3rd. Happy birthday, Dee Dee Woodson. You're going to see that. So just wanted to share that real quick. But for this was an easy setup for WrestleMania and establishes a conflict between Austin Theory and Pat McAfee. We know from experience that Pat McAfee will show up and show out come WrestleMania. Given Theory's youth, desire to be great, and to see his star rise in WWE, expect the same from him. Do not be surprised if on the heels of WrestleMania 38, and whenever we do our recaps, that we are talking about McAfee versus Theory as one of the genuine hidden gems of the entire weekend. this could end up being a potential sleeper fight of the night. Think about that. This could be a sleeper fight of the night because we know what McAfee can do. We saw it in NXT. The match with Adam Cole. And then the War Games match with him and Pete Dunne, Oney Lorcan, and Danny Burch against the Undisputed Era. We saw it. So that's all there is to say on that. Great moment. And man, we all know how jacked. I mean, McAfee is jacked every week. And man, I mean, that's probably the most pissed off and angry we've seen him probably since the Adam Cole program in NXT. I mean, he even went off on Michael Cole and the whole 9 yards. And man, that was something. So with that being said, Michael Bullock, last time he wrestled, you rooted against him. Are you rooting for him this time?
Oh, I'm rooting for him this time. Yeah, this is definitely the perfect setup. I mean, Pat McAfee, I mean, he wrestled in front of a small crowd, but now he's going to be wrestling in close to 100,000 fans over in Jerry World, and that's going to be a big moment for him. And I'll tell you what, I mean, if Austin Theory thinks this is going to be an easy day, he better think twice, because look at the matches he had in NXT, and he was certainly no push around. I mean, and Adam Cole learned about it. So yeah, this is a good setup here. And of course, before we move on, guys, of course, with the news obviously yesterday that Mr. McMahon Vince McMahon is going to be inducting the Undertaker into the Hall of Fame. I think we all three of us agreed this was the right choice.
Especially you and me, Bullock.
Yeah. And Fletch, what says you?
I'm not surprised that it was Mr. McMahon. I mean, there was a few choices it could have been, but for Mr. McMahon to be the one, I'm content with it. I'm pretty happy.
Exactly. And just because of the Undertaker's loyalty to WWE for 30 years, and I think this was perfect to have Vince McMahon be the one to induct him into the Hall of Fame. I mean, he did it with Stone Cold Steve Austin, and now he's going to be doing it with the Undertaker. And especially when he introduces him, he'll say, "The Undertaker."
That's
you know he's going to do that.
When he does that, and I'm going to get goosies instantly.
Yeah, Florio, you wanted it, and you got it, man. And we all can't wait for the Hall of Fame.
You and me especially, Bullock, with all those chats during all of our Raw and SmackDown chats, we talked about it. Who would be the only one who could do it justice? I mean, there were several worthy candidates. You know, you had Kane, you had Mick Foley, you had Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Stone Cold, but in all honesty, Vince McMahon, like him or not, was the only one who could do it justice, and I'm damn glad it's going to happen.
Yeah, definitely, and can't wait for it. So there's really nothing more to say. Fletch, it's yours.
All right, and we do indeed move on. Unfortunately, we got a couple of cutouts here, guys. So first up we had was Naomi versus Carmella. Naomi wins the match in 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Then after that, we had Jinder Mahal versus Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre wins the match in 2 minutes and 5 seconds. So we move on. Then we had Roman Reigns cutting a promo. Then we had a tag team match as it was Eric and Ivar, the Viking Raiders versus the Usos. The Smackdown Tag Team titles on the line. And the Usos successfully defends the titles in 8 minutes and 25 seconds. Michael Bullock, it is yours.
This was about another 2.5 to 3 here. I mean, to me, the outcome was never in doubt. I mean, obviously, we finally get the match that we should have gotten at in Saudi Arabia at Elimination Chamber, but of course that did not happen because of the blindside attack by the Usos. So, But like I said, the outcome was never in doubt, so there's really nothing more to say. Fletch, it is yours.
2.5 to 3, agreed. Great match. Solid fight, I'll say. And the outcome was never in doubt. Anthony, your thoughts?
And there was one thing that we forgot to address earlier this week. Matter of fact, I think we were so caught up in what happened with Damian Priest and Edge that we forgot that there was a segment during Raw that announced that Carmella and Queen Zelina will defend the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships at WrestleMania against Sasha Banks and Naomi. And I hate to say it, but my early projection, I'm calling for new champs. I'm calling for Sasha and Naomi to win the belts.
Agreed.
And I believe they'll become exclusive to Friday Night SmackDown. That'll be a big moment for MF to have the women's tag team titles back on the blue brand.
If you think about it, it would be wouldn't it be 3 years in a row that the blue brand would have won the women's tag team titles at WrestleMania?
Well, there was a successful title defense last year.
Yeah.
Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler successfully defended against Natalya and Tamina. And Natty and Tamina won it about a month and a half later.
Yeah.
On a SmackDown show. So, but yes, that match will go down at WrestleMania. Carmella and Queen Zelina against Sasha and Naomi. The reunited 2/3 of the reunited Team Bad, and that's what's going to happen there. As for this tag title match here, this was another. I'm going to give this a solid 3 stars for the effort. I could say the same thing about the. I'm actually going to put an indemnit on my rating here. I'm going to make a small indemnit, 3 to 3 1/4 actually for that first match. This was about the same, 3 to 3 1/4. The Usos are equally on fire right now, turning in some of the best work of their careers against a diverse roster of tag teams, none like the others. Here, they thwarted the bruising nature of their larger opponents and still retained by downing Eric with the trademark move of a team they will, I believe, one day join in the WWE Hall of Fame when their careers are said and done, and that is the Dudley Boys with that 1D. Jimmy and Jay are so incredibly strong as champions that it is difficult to imagine a team that can dethrone them. But wait, I think I may have found that team. Did you notice before Roman Reigns came out, Rick Boogs and Shinsuke Nakamura were making their way down? Who jumped them?
The Usos.
Is the light bulb going off in your head now?
Oh.
The attack on Boogs and Nakamura set those baby faces up to try
WrestleMania.
How about it, guys? I mean, dude, how about it?
Usos? Imagine Boogs and Nakamura winning the titles with McAfee there. Oh, there's gonna be a moment in Theory World.
You want a WrestleMania moment?
Oh, air guitar's going crazy. Let's go.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. So that's a little food for thought for you guys. You're welcome. So 3 to 3 1/4 stars for that. So with that, I believe we have one more order of business on this SmackDown tonight, MF.
Yeah, one more order of business. The SmackDown debut, the in-ring debut of Ronda Rousey versus Sonya Deville. Ronda Rousey wins the match in 3 minutes and 15 seconds. Look, this was short, sweet, straight to the point. We all knew Sonya was not going to win that match. And then on top of that, Charlotte Flair was at ringside, and Charlotte tried to get Ronda. Ronda got her, put her in the ankle lock, and Charlotte tapped out. So you want to talk about major momentum for Ronda Rousey going to WrestleMania? This was it. Look, satisfying end. This is what it needed it to be. A delicious squash. and for Ronda to get a leg up on Charlotte Flair. Because remember, Charlotte got Ronda earlier. So now, I believe now they're even, 1-1. Now you continue the build for WrestleMania, which I believe they've been doing a very good job with. So, and the thing is, we're getting Ronda in small little spurts. We don't need the big. We just need her in small little spurts. I don't mind it. I think they did a good job with it. I'm satisfied with the way that she handled it tonight. I got nothing more to say. So, Anthony, this was, even though the match was short, but like I said, this was a delicious squash, and this was exactly what it needed it to be.
You took the words right out of my mouth, MF. I'll even add this to it. The purpose of this was to remind fans that Ronda Rousey is an ass kicker who can finish an opponent off at any time, absorbing any amount of punishment along the way. It also seemed to feed into Charlotte Flair's insistence that Ronda Rousey could only win with the armbar before proving the contrary as she tapped the champion out with an ankle lock. A new finisher and a champion reeling set up a scenario where Charlotte Flair may enter WrestleMania as the underdog to retain her own SmackDown Women's Championship. Great way to cap off the evening show and send the crowd home happy. So, no doubt about that. So, this was probably about 1 to 1.5 for the effort. It was probably... No, it wasn't really the worst fight of the night. There were two that were worse, but nonetheless, 1.5 for the effort here. So, Michael Bullock, Ronda Rousey, she not only tapped out Sonya, but she tapped out the Queen with an ankle lock, of all things.
Yeah, you would think it was going to be the armbar, but no, it was an ankle lock. So, yeah, it definitely gives Ronda some momentum going into her SmackDown Women's title match at WrestleMania. So, yeah, 1 to 1.5. And like you said, this match was short and sweet to the point, and basically showing Ronda Rousey's dominance here. So, yeah, there's really nothing more to say. Fletch, let's get into overall thoughts and then quickly get into Rampage.
All right, Anthony Flair, you lead off on the recap for Raw. For SmackDown.
I would love to lead off on Raw, but
yeah,
no. But maybe Monday. But don't forget, we're also going to be getting into AEW Revolution as well in a little bit. But anyways, this was a very hyped show tonight. Those 3 huge matches, 2 of them delivered. The other was a delicious squash, as MF mentioned. We also had some newsworthy stuff that went down here tonight. The announcement of Austin Theory as Pat McAfee's opponent for WrestleMania. Sami Zayn and Johnny Knoxville becoming official for WrestleMania. Crowning of a new champion and a very deserving champion, I might add, in Ricochet, winning the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship tonight. So, all in all, I would have to say this show definitely lived up to the hype here. I'm going to give it a solid 7 out of 10 for me. Great continued build to WrestleMania, and yeah, great night in Miami indeed. Birmingham, Alabama up next as we continue the SmackDown road to WrestleMania. Of course, first we got to get to Cleveland Monday night on Raw for that huge triple threat match for the Raw Tag Team Championship, and Edge will have some explaining to do, and Edge will explain his he will address that phenomenal beatdown of AJ Styles. So there isn't much more to say on that. So we'll get into that Monday. But for right now, solid 7 out of 10 for me. So Michael Bullock, the 3 matches all delivered in one aspect or another. The 2 title matches did. The women's match, maybe not so much. Also some newsworthy stuff. Crowning of a new champion. I think that's enough for a 7. What about you?
Yeah, I think it's enough for a 7 out of 10. I mean, like you said, I mean, you had some good matches. Obviously, the Ronda Rousey match was well short, but it proved Ronda's dominance, and you had some newsworthy stuff that came out of this. So there's really nothing more to say. 7 out of 10. Fletch, let's get into Rampage.
All right, and we start off Rampage with a triple threat match for the TNT Championship. Darby Allin, Andrade El Idolo, and the champion Sammy Guevara. When it was all said and done, the winner of the match in 13 minutes and 15 seconds, and still the TNT champion, Sammy Guevara. Amazing match. Great start to the show. Fight of the night for me, as this was 3.5 stars. They could not have done any better. Everybody was going for it. This was an excellent match, but Sammy, being the Spanish god that he is, rises to the occasion one more time and successfully defends the championship. Anthony Florio, it is yours.
Agree to disagree. I agree with you that it was the fight of the night, but I think you underscored it a little bit, MF. For me, this was 4 to 4 1/4. This was the fight of the night. These are 3 different types of wrestlers, but all of them use speed as part of their offense, so they were able to put together an exciting match from start to finish. All 3 guys had a few different moments to shine, but you could argue that Andrade delivered the best performance. Sammy Guevara had the coolest high spots, but Andrade El Idolo was the one who had to catch both of his opponents most of the time. He was the one using his power to make the other guys look good. There were a few moments when it felt like Guevara might actually lose the title, so their false finishes were effective, to say the least. So fight of the night for me, 4 to 4 1/4 stars. Great jump off. Although there's that part of me that thinks that it should have been the main event, but I digress. So not much more to say. Michael Bullock, your thoughts?
3.5 to 4 is my rating for this. It was definitely the fight of the night, hands down. I mean, a great way to start it off. I mean, these 3 could definitely get it done in the ring, and Sammy Guevara once again overcomes everything and is still the champ. So now the question is, who's going to be next to challenge him? We'll find out. But anywho, there's really nothing more to say. Fletch, let's move on.
Next up, one-on-one match. JD Drake goes up against Keith Lee. Keith Lee wins the match in 6 minutes and 50 seconds. We don't necessarily need to talk about it. Look, this was a delicious squash. I think we can openly say Keith Lee just got some momentum going into the Revolution on Sunday. We'll talk about his match, his big fight coming up in a little bit. Then it was Serena Deeb versus Layla Gray in the 5-minute challenge. Serena Deeb crushes her in less than a minute, 59 seconds. That leads us into the main event. All Ego, Ethan Page versus Christian Cage in a Face of the Revolution qualifying match. And Christian Cage wins the match in 9 minutes. Anthony Florio, it's yours.
Yeah. Obviously, second best fight of the night here. Another 3 to 3 1/4 stars. Christian Cage and Ethan Page worked well as opponents. They have somewhat similar styles that incorporate little bits of every wrestling technique, so they were able to put together some smooth sequences. This might have been the best match All Ego has had since joining AEW, and that speaks to the skill of Captain Charisma. He can work with anybody and make them look. But anyway, they end up creating a little bit of magic. Cage's presence in the ladder match adds some prestige to the proceedings when you consider his history with the stipulation. They obviously needed that veteran guy to get the match, to get the ball rolling, and I couldn't think of anybody better than Christian Cage. We know his history in ladder matches, especially TLC. Hello. So I know he'll deliver in spades on Sunday night. So there isn't really much more to say here. 3 to 3 1/4 stars. Obviously, second best fight of the night. Michael Bullock, your thoughts?
Yeah, 3 1/4 for me. I mean, I thought this was a good match here, and yeah, Christian Cage now puts his spot in the Face of the Revolution ladder match. We all know about his history with ladder matches, like Florio just mentioned there. So nothing more to say. Fletch, it is yours.
Yeah, about 3 stars. I'll give it as well. So nothing more to say, Michael Bullock. Give me your overall thoughts.
Yeah, I thought it was an okay. I thought it was a good edition of Rampage. I mean, you had a couple of good matches here, and obviously, and let's not forget. I mean, we saw that thing with Pac and Penta with the confronting Brody King, um, Malachi Black and of course the former Buddy Murphy, but who's going to be joining Pac and Penta? Eric Redbeard. I mean, the former Eric Rowan. I mean, man, good luck to anybody trying to contain that guy. I mean, but yeah, so anywho, there's really nothing more for me to add. 6.5 to 7. Fletch, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'll give it about 6.5. I thought it was an okay show. I mean, there was a couple of matches that it could have been left to be desired, but there wasn't really anything about that. Yeah, it was fun for what it was worth, but there's really nothing more to add. So, Anthony, it's yours.
Decent go-home show of Rampage before Revolution this weekend. It did a little bit to cover several feuds that'll be featured on the card. 2 good match, 1 great match, 1 solid match, 1 okay match, and a delicious squash. So yeah, 6.5. Let's get to the preview.
All right, and we will indeed do that. And we have 3 matches that is going to be on the buy-in, guys. That is going to be 1 hour before the actual show. I'm just going to talk about it. We don't have to give official predictions on this, guys. It is Hook versus QT Marshall, Layla Hirsch versus Chris Statlander, and in a 6-man tag team fight, it is the House of Black, which is Malachi Black, Brody King, and Buddy Matthews. They're going up against the Death Triangle, Pac, Penta Esoro, and Eric Redbeard. Now, to the actual fight card. We got Jade Cargill versus Ty Conte for the TBS Championship. Okay, going into this, you know how much I love Ty. And you know how much I would love for Ty Conte to win the championship. I just don't think it's going to happen. I think Jade Cargill will successfully defend the title. I think it's going to be a great match. And this could probably be Jade's best performance in AEW because she now goes up against a really good wrestler. But I think Jade is gonna figure out Ty and get the job done. For me, the winner and still TBS champion Jade Cargill. Anthony, it's yours.
What AEW has done a good job of with this card, and what they usually do a good job of in general, is finding opponents who will allow champions to shine even when in a situation where they're unlikely to drop the title. When you build a wrestler up as undefeated and put a belt on them, you don't take that belt off unless you have the right situation where it means something. That's not quite the situation with Conti. She's a great challenger, and beating her means something for Cargill as the champion continues to be built as something special. Conti is among a small handful of women, along with Thunder Rosa, Ruby Soho, and Serena Deeb, who are due for a TBS or AEW Women's World title down the line. Now is not quite the time. Cargill has received a monster push out of the gate. It's too early to take the title off her and her winning streak. It needs to be a big deal when someone comes along and conquers Cargill. Conti just isn't quite in that position yet. Winner and still TBS champion, Jade Cargill. Michael Bullock, make it unanimous.
I will make it unanimous. Jade Cargill will retain the TBS championship. I mean, she's just on an absolute roll, and unless there's a really good opponent that can take the title off of her. I mean, look, Ty Conti is good. I just don't think she's going to be good enough to take the title off of Jade Cargill. So yeah, there's really nothing more for me to add to it. So on to the next match.
All right, on to the next match. Indeed, Anthony Florio up front and center as you get to lead off on this one. And it will be a 6-man tag team fight. Andrade El Idolo, Matt Hardy, and Isaiah Cassidy going up against Darby Allin, Sammy Guevara, and Sting Florio, it's yours.
Yeah. Very few wrestlers on the AEW roster can match Andrade's intensity and fluidity in the ring. It's a bummer that he's been saddled with the Andrade Hardy family office stuff, which comes off more comical than it should. Darby Allin, Sammy Guevara, and Sting is the safe choice. Give them the rub and move Andrade onto a more program that he can really sink his teeth into. And Allin and Guevara are massive pieces of AEW's future, and Sting is Sting. That should be enough. Winners of the match, Darby Allin, TNT champion Sammy Guevara, and Sting. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I'm with you, Florio. I'm going to go with Darby Allin, Sting, and Sammy Guevara here to win this one. So, yeah, there's nothing more to say. Fletch, it is yours.
I'm actually in agreement. I'm going to go with Guevara, Sting, and Darby to win it. So we got to move right on along. All right, Michael Bullock, you lead off on this one. This is one of the highly anticipated matches of the evening, as it will be the AEW World Tag Team Titles on the line. Jurassic Express, Jungle Boy, and Luchasaurus goes up against Red Dragon, Bobby Fish, and Kyle O'Reilly. And the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson. Who walks out the tag team champions?
This will undoubtedly be the biggest challenge for Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus since they became the AEW World Tag Team Champions. You're going to be going up against one of the most decorated tag teams in professional wrestling, and the Young Bucks, and of course Red Dragon. Yeah, obviously, to me, I'm gonna go with Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus to retain the AEW World Tag Team Titles, and the reason why I think so, because I think you're gonna have some friction with Red Dragon and the Young Bucks. I mean, we've been seeing it lately, and I think you're gonna see more of it here. One of them's gonna want to be able to get the pinfall. But I think there's going to be, or something's going to happen here that's going to end up where you see Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus take advantage of it. So, winners and still the tag team champions, Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, Jurassic Express. Fletch, it is yours.
I agree. Yeah, I think it will be a Jurassic Express, because I do believe that you nailed it right on the head, Michael Bullock. I think what's going to happen is, I think there's going to be a meltdown. I think there's going to be a moment where these two teams are going to think that they're going to win it, and then the next thing you know, boom goes the dynamite, and we're about to see a successful title defense by Jurassic Express. So for me, like you said, winners and still the tag team champions, Jurassic Express, Jungle Boy, and Luchasaurus. I think there's going to be an implosion between Red Dragon and the Young Bucks. Somebody's going to make a mistake, and then kablooey, we're going to see some fireworks. So, Florio, it's yours.
100% agree. That's the only way Jurassic Express will get it done. There's no real reason to put the belts back on the Young Bucks so they can be removed from the equation. Jurassic Express will only be 2 months into their reign, which gives AEW plenty of reasons to not take the titles off of them. Also, with as committed as AEW is to Jungle Boy as a massive part of the promotion's future, they are not likely going to want his first title reign to end so soon. Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus need the belts more than Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish do. Red Dragon have a great slow burn feud in the works with the Young Bucks. Jurassic Express, on the other hand, don't have a major program to shift into and need the belts to keep their momentum going. It's also too early in the reign to take the belts off them, which is arguably AEW's most popular homegrown tag team act. Winners and still AEW World Tag Team Champions, the Jurassic Express. So with that being said, MF, let's move on to the next match.
Are you boys ready?
Let's go.
Let's do it.
Bryan Danielson, one-on-one against Jon Moxley. All right. Everybody knows this is one of those matches that I don't think we ever got to see in WWE, but damn it, we get to see it in AEW, and we are going to love every second of this one. This is going to be a hell of a fight. This is going to be a hell of a match. Two great style wrestling. The brawler, that attitude of Moxley, the pure wrestling precision of Bryan Danielson. For me, this could go either way. I'm actually going to go with Bryan Danielson to win the match. I think Danielson is going to steal it. I think he's going to cheat to win. Anthony Florio, I give it to you.
This is one of the tougher matches on the card to predict. Bryan Danielson has flourished since making the jump from WWE to AEW. However, he has yet to have that one defining victory. He scored draws against Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page and lost to Hangman Adam Page in an AEW Championship rematch on the debut Dynamite on TBS in January. Moxley made a touching, inspiring return to AEW following an extended hiatus to deal with his alcoholism. The expectation is that regardless of the outcome, Moxley and Danielson will unite to lead a faction of talented young stars in need of their tough love. That's a great position to be in. Either man can come out victorious, and that can set the wheels in motion for a double turn down the line. There are a lot of interesting options for how this plays out. That said, no option is more interesting than Moxley losing and reluctantly joining up with Danielson to lead a group of young talent. It doesn't require a full heel turn by Moxley to make it work, and the inevitable split with the young talent having to take sides is even more exciting. With that long-term potential in mind, it's hard for me to go against Danielson getting the win here, but this is yet another fantastic match on this card. This could end up stealing the damn show. But then again, there's several other matches on this card that could steal the damn show. So, winner of the match for me, the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson. Bullock, are we going to make this unanimous?
I'm going to make it unanimous as well. I'm going to go with Bryan Danielson here to beat Jon Moxley, and what I think is going to be one hell of a match between these two. So, nothing more to say, Fletch. It is yours.
All right, sorry about that, guys. And now the next thing that we do have, Anthony Florio, you'll get to lead it off. And this one is, it will be Eddie Kingston one-on-one against Chris Jericho. So, Florio, another highly anticipated match on the Revolution fight card. And it's yours.
If there is any justice in this world, Eddie Kingston is set to get a win here, and he's due for a win here. It's understandable why he hasn't been able to pull off wins in big spots, but the crowd remains firmly behind him. That can and will only last so long if they're repeatedly shown that their investment doesn't come with any returns. Jericho doesn't benefit from a win here. He's bulletproof. His legacy is secure and cemented, and he can be put in any position at any time because of it. Kingston actually needs the win. It's time for him to get his big win. Kingston has received some of the best ovations since arriving in AEW to challenge Cody Rhodes for the TNT Championship. His veteran status on the independent circuit, touching real-life story, and authenticity on the microphone has made him a favorite amongst the AEW faithful. He lost to Bryan Danielson. He lost, that was at Full Gear. He lost to Bryan Danielson. No, he lost to Danielson on a, I think it was on a Dynamite or a Rampage. He lost to CM Punk at, I believe that was Full Gear. So I think it's time for Eddie Kingston to win a big one. So I'm going with Eddie Kingston to win this match. Michael Bullock, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Eddie Kingston to win this one as well. I mean, he's due for a big-time win here. So, yeah, you basically touched on everything on it, Florio. So Eddie Kingston wins. Fletch, it is yours.
Agreed. I'm going to go with Eddie Kingston. There's really nothing more to add here. So now, Michael Bullock, you get to lead off on this one, as it is the face of the Revolution ladder match. The winner gets a shot at the AEW TNT title. The participants in that match: Keith Lee, Orange Cassidy, Powerhouse Hobbs, Ricky Starks, Wardlow, and by virtue of his win tonight, Christian Cage. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I mean, I think this should be a good Face of the Revolution ladder match. I mean, this is a tough one for me to call, but if I'm gonna pick a winner here with this one, I don't know how you guys are gonna feel about it, but I'm gonna go with Keith Lee here. I mean, look, Orange Cassidy. I mean, I know some people say he's a good choice, and Christian Cage as well, but I think maybe Keith Lee should get this opportunity to win this one. So I'm gonna go with Keith Lee, but if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Fletch, it's yours. I mean, I think this is going to be a good one, but who do you got coming out of this?
Wardlow. I'm going with Wardlow. And the reason why I'm going to go with Wardlow is because I do believe this is going to build up Wardlow as the face in that rivalry. And when he does finally upend and win the AEW TNT title, that's when you're going to see MJF try to sneak in to say, okay, Wardlow, give me the belt. That belt now belongs to me. That's when Wardlow relents, says no, and then you'll have MJF versus Wardlow over the TNT title. That'd be a perfect hook and a perfect situation for everybody involved, because it would make the TNT title elevated with the way that the rivalry has been, and Wardlow, who's mega over with the fans, and I mean mega over, especially after what he did on Wednesday night, there's no doubt in my mind that Wardlow is the guy that needs this more than anybody else. Don't get me wrong. Keith Lee is a good choice, Michael Bullock, and would I be shocked if he wins it all? No. But if you're talking on a standpoint for storyline progression and what would be the best outcome for AEW, Wardlow needs to win this match. Florio, go.
I agree with one of you. Who do I agree with? I agree with Girl MF Michael Fletcher. Wardlow has to be the favorite going into this match. His powerbomb spot has been a hit with fans, and the promotion has expertly dragged out Wardlow's eventual face turn and split from the Pinnacle. Winning the Face of the Revolution ladder match adds another layer of complexity into the eventual Wardlow-MJF feud. If MJF beats Punk at Revolution, he and Wardlow may find themselves on singles title pursuits. If MJF loses to Punk, it may plant seeds of envy for MJF to see his hired muscle eclipse him. So I'm going with MF. Wardlow wins. So there really isn't much more to say. Michael Bullock is headed out, so MF will run it the rest of the way. Let's continue on.
All right, and the next match that we were going to have was going to be Dr. Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa, the AEW Women's title on the line. Michael Bullock has gone and says Dr. Britt Baker. I'm with Michael Bullock on this one too. I think Britt Baker will successfully defend the title, even though I think Thunder Rosa is going to give her a heck of a fight. I just don't see Thunder Rosa winning it. I just feel like Britt is going to keep it a little while longer. Anthony, it's yours.
You remember when I talked about it with Jade Cargill? I mean, it's got to, and no disrespect to Thunder Rosa. I mean, she could easily do it, but whoever eventually dethrones her, it's got to be somebody who will make it mean something. Rosa would, but I just don't think she's, I think Dr. Britt is due. Would I be surprised if Thunder Rosa won? No, not at all. None of us would be. Especially after that epic match they had about a year ago, that infamous Lights Out match, which we're approaching the 1-year anniversary of. that stole the damn show and was definitely the women's match. Out of all the women's matches we saw in professional wrestling in 2021, that was hands down the women's match of the year in any promotion. But nonetheless, and especially after what we saw on Dynamite Wednesday night, I think Dr. Britt is due to finally give Rosa her comeuppance here. So, winner and still the AEW Women's World Champion, it is Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. So let's move on to the next match.
The dog collar match. MJF goes one-on-one with CM Punk. Anthony, it's yours.
Punk. I mean, in Punk versus MJF, AEW has struck promo gold. Both men can deliver on the mic and have enough in the ring, even as Punk's skills are somewhat faded, to back up the intriguing trash talk. Given MJF has one win over Punk already, letting Punk score a win to set up a third match makes sense. AEW doesn't fall back on 50-50 booking the way WWE does, which means there's some actual meaning when it does happen. MJF delivered one of wrestling's greatest promos on last week's AEW Dynamite. Prior to that, I was convinced Punk would go over at Revolution. Now, maybe I'm not too sure, but ultimately, I'm going with Punk. Now, he has not looked particularly strong in between the ropes during this feud. He lost to MJF by nefarious means and barely inched out a win over Wardlow. Punk's return was monumental. Even if the company doesn't plan to run with him as AEW champion eventually, he should be in the title mix sooner than later. MJF has a lot of time on his hands. I foresee Punk getting the win and moving on to a program, maybe he could be the next in line for the AEW title by the time AEW's next pay-per-view rolls around, Double or Nothing, at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Memorial Day weekend, May 29th. So MJF will have time to position himself as title challenger and eventual champion, but I'm going with CM Punk as well. How many more matches do we have, MF?
After this, it's the main event. So I'm going to say this. I do agree. CM Punk wins. Now we are in the main event. The AEW World Heavyweight title on the line. The champion, the Hangman, Adam Page, goes up against Adam Cole. And I'm going to say it. I'm going with cowboy shit. I'm going with Adam Hangman Page. I just don't see Adam Cole getting the belt just yet. I think it's going to be a hell of a fight. It's going to be a war. But after what happened on Wednesday, that convinced me more than ever that Page is winning the belt. To me, winner and still the world champion, Adam Page. Anthony, you got final say.
AEW has not shown any interest in short world title reigns, and it's unlikely they will start with Hangman Adam Page. A ton of time and effort was invested into getting Page to the peak, and Adam Cole is a great challenger that will not lose a ton from coming up short against the champion. What we can count on is this world title match to feel like a world title match. Cole and Page are going to go out with every intention of putting on a match of the year quality bout and have the talent to pull that off to close out what could be one of the best pay-per-views in history, and will definitely be an early contender for pay-per-view of the year for 2022. Simply put, it's too soon for Hangman to drop the belt. Hangman is just coming into his own as AEW World Heavyweight Champion, and a longer reign is necessary to rival the runs of Chris Jericho, Jon Moxley, and Kenny Omega before him. Adam Cole is a future world champion, no doubt about it, but he has a program between the Elite and the formerly known as Undisputed era to look forward to. So winner and still AEW World Heavyweight Champion, Hangman Adam Page. MF, take it home and set up the future content.
All right, so what we're going to do is tomorrow, there's nothing tomorrow because, whatever. Sunday is the AEW show. Those run a little late. We're not doing any recaps on that one. Monday is Ridiculously Raw, hosted by Anthony Florio. As always, he got Monday Night Raw. Then there is the, I guess you could call it NXT Level Up, and there's also Impact. There's a special event coming up for Impact
tomorrow night. It's called it's called Sacrifice tomorrow night, and I'm gonna have my full review of that. So,
all right,
in place of my traditional Tony's take.
All right. With that said, stand corrected. I apologize. Wednesday night is Wednesday Night Mayhem. That's when you'll get the AEW recap from Revolution. That starts the show. Then, of course, we got NXT and Dynamite right after that. Thursday, we are back with a Strictly Sports show. We are previewing the conference tournaments, all the major conferences. So if you are a fan of the ACC, the Big East, the Big 10, the Big 12, SEC, we got you. We will have all the previews. We're going to preview the match. We're going to preview each and every tournament, including the A10. For all you Rhode Island fans out there, you're like, hey, what about us? What about us? Okay, we got you. Don't worry. We're not gonna leave you out. You all right? We know. You guys got a shot at the tournament. You guys got to win it. You guys got to win it out. But you guys got a shot. You're on the bubble. We got it. So we got that on Thursday. Friday, 1 week from tonight, we do it all over again with another edition of Cerebral Smack Talk. So, for Anthony Floyo, for Michael Bullock, I am Michael Fletcher. Have a good night, everybody. We will see you on Monday for Ridiculously